Um, so I'm a realtor just like you guys and gals, and I've been a realtor for 14 years. Before that, I was a financial planner, a stock trader, and I basically lost all my money in a matter of a few seconds. And so I said, okay, when that happened in 2001, I said I need to sell something tangible, like a book or something. And so I called a good friend of mine, Steve Westmark, who we had bought a number of homes through, and I just said, I want to sell real estate. And the reason I chose real estate is because I was like, okay, I could sell cars or I could sell other items, but I wanted to sell something that was larger priced and that would allow me to kind of really build a relationship with people. And so that's what I chose. So Steve said, hey, that's great. You got to get your license and this and that. So I did that. And that was the day before Thanksgiving. I got my license back in, I think, 2002 now. And so, yeah, so that was my start into the real estate world. And my first year back 2002, well, 2003 was my first full year. I did a little over 10 million in sales.
Good for you.
Yeah, yeah. And I think the good part about it is I didn't even know that was good, right? And
Mm-hmm.
so that second year I did 14.4 million, and then the third year I did like 27.2 million.
Wow.
And people started coming to me in my office, and they're like, "What are you doing? And how are you doing this?" And I was just like, "I don't know. I just work." But I started figuring out that I must be doing something different. And so I created this thing called Guide to Your Success. This is one of my original ones. It's like pages are falling out and all this. But in here is it's a really, really jam-packed book full of the 12 different ways that I go about getting leads and then converting those leads into appointments, and then making sure those appointments turn into happy clients and referrals. And I've had the fortunate, I guess, blessing to, I just do real estate different, right? And I'm all about, let's attract a premium client. And so to me, a premium client is somebody that's really easy to work with and they know what they want. And I think that's really, really important. So many times I think realtors deal with people that are maybe interested, or they deal with people that are like committed to doing something. But I'm really interested in working with a buyer or seller that's really obsessed with with buying a home or with selling a home, right? Not in a mean way, but
Right.
somebody that's just like, all right, we are going to do this, you know. And so I tell people, I'm not interested in helping you list your house. I'm interested in helping you sell your house. And I'm not interested in helping you look for homes. I'm interested in helping you like buy a home. But even more than buying a home, I'm interested in helping you get the exact lifestyle that you're looking for. And so now I've sold, oh gosh, as of last month, I sold 371 million
Wow.
of real estate, and I've helped, gosh, a little over 1,300 families out, and I've done it in two different states. One in Minnesota, and then 7 years ago I woke up, I said, let's move to San Diego, and so we did that, my wife and I and our four kids, and kind of retired for about 3 years. And then 4 years ago, I woke up. I said, I should do real estate out here. And that year, I did a little over 20 million in sales.
Wow.
And so yeah, so I've definitely developed the skills where now I probably, well, last year I did 29.2 million, and I worked about 22 hours a week, give or take, on my real estate business. But I'd say that's because I'm really, really good at attracting premium clients, converting them, into an appointment, converting them then into a client, and then just delivering a phenomenal experience. And so it's a triangle. And on one side of the triangle, if you got a pad of paper, write attract. On another side, I would write convert, and on the bottom of it is deliver. And then inside that pyramid is just scale. And scale doesn't mean you have to have a team of people. And in Minnesota, I had 16 realtors working with me at one time, and that was a little bit of a headache. And I can go over what to do or what not to do, but out of those 142 realtors total that I hired, there's 4 of them that I earned a little over $1.6 million from, and they as well earned a very good income. So yeah, that's something I can teach in a different call at a different time. But if somebody has that desire to do that, that's definitely possible. I actually sold that company about 2.5 years ago. But now my big passion, well, 2 things. One is helping about 24 clients out a year, buyers and sellers. And so again, working with a premium client. And then number 2, I'd say my big passion is helping realtors throughout America basically duplicate my success and really use my signature system so that they create what I call an ELF business, ELF, which is easy, lucrative, and fun, versus most realtors have a very half business, which is hard, it's arduous, many times it's really kind of lame, and it's frustrating. And a lot of that is because realtors do things that I think just all realtors do. It's like you just kind of follow the crowd. And I knew I had something really different when a good friend of mine, a realtor friend of mine, Brad Olson, who'd been a realtor for about 19 years, he had helped close to 1,000 families. He came to me one day in Minnesota, and he just said, "Hey, Jonathan, I am going to quit the business and go paint houses." And I was like, "Whoa, Brad, you've helped like close to 1,000 families? You're a really nice guy. Like, what is going on?" He's like, "I am just tired." And I told him, I said, "Well, what are you doing?" Right? And he told me what he did in a typical day, in a typical week. And I was like, "Holy cow, Brad, I would want to paint houses too. That just sounds brutal, right? And let's do it a better way." And so I started telling him a different way, and yeah, within a year, his life changed. He was having the best time ever. He was having all-time income and more free time. And it all starts with premium clients. So yeah, do you guys have, and this is total interactive, so do you guys have any questions so far on anything?
No, I think that's all of our goal, to work less and earn more, and have a good system in place that you can really, just make sure you're making every step count along the way, and just be efficient and enjoy yourself. The fun part. This is a fun business, so let's have fun and make it lucrative. That's what makes it more fun.
Exactly. And it really comes down to these 4 things. So these are 4 things I very much focus on. 1 is decide what you want. 2 is develop your plan. Step 3 is work that plan. And then step 4 is track your results, just as needed, and really celebrate. And so step 1, decide what you want, is basically you just got to ask yourself, like, what do you want? Right? And there's some people that want $300,000 a year. There's some people that want $50,000 a year. There's some people that want $800,000 a year. There's some people that want to work 10 hours a week. There's some that are, hey, I'll work 80 hours a week. And I tell people my signature system is designed so that you earn $300,000 of income within 12 months, and you're going to work probably about 50 hours a week.
Wow.
maybe 60 hours a week, depending on how fast of an implementer you are, right? So it's not going to kill you. And deciding what you want for me is also about deciding what you really want, just in your life, right? Your lifestyle. And so for me, I have 4 kids and I like seeing them and hanging out with them. So I'm like, okay, I got to have a system that's going to allow me to do that. And I have a wife that it's like, oh my gosh, I love her dearly. So I want to spend time with her, right? I don't want a job where I'm conveniently away from the house, right? And so, one of the steps that helped me with that is this thing called the Freedom Multiplier. And all of you guys should have this. If not, I'll send it out to you. But it's a article that I wrote called The 4 Secret Steps to Success. And on page 4, at the bottom here, it talks about the Freedom Multiplier. And the Freedom Multiplier is huge. It's something that I do a 3-day conference. Well, my next one coming up is in September, and we spend about the first half of the first day just talking on the Freedom Multiplier, because it's so critical. Because most realtors will run after any and every transaction. Um, it's just detrimental, right? It's like if you choose to work with a, let's say hypothetically, a $200,000 buyer or seller, that is okay, but there's probably $500,000 buyer or sellers in your area as well. And if you choose to work with a $200,000 buyer or seller, you're taking time away from what you could be doing. Does that make sense? So I'm a big believer of every time you say yes to something, you're also saying no to something. So I really want to make sure that I'm saying yes to things that make sense to me and that I've truly thought through. And so the Freedom Multiplier is really 4 steps. Step 1 is asking yourself, well, how much money do I want to make per client? And that's a question that only each of us can answer, right? But in a perfect world, every time you help a client out, you get a commission check, and you take that to the bank and you deposit it. So in a perfect world, how much money do you want to deposit at the bank after you're done helping out a buyer or seller? And so definitely workshop format. So does anybody want to chime in and say, at least off the top of their head, you know, what would be a number that you would be pleased with to go in and deposit every time you're done helping a buyer or seller?
10 grand is fine with me.
10,000. Okay, awesome. So I'm just jotting that down. So okay, so 10,000. So that basically tells me, let's just use 2.5% as a normal commission, let's say. Maybe it's higher in your area or lower in your area. That means, okay, if it's, well, and I guess I should ask you, is yours like a typical 6% or 5%? How does your market work?
Yeah, typically 6, 3 and 3.
3 and 3. Okay, awesome. So that means the line in the sand for you would be what number?
That'd be what, roughly 350, 400.
Yeah. Yep. It'd be 333,000 to be exact. So yeah. So then that requires the mental discipline, which is hard, right? It's easy to go, man, I want to lose 20 pounds. Yeah, that's called a New Year's resolution. The hard part is when it's January 11th. I'm on a mission to lose 20 pounds by within 60 days, and I'm about 10 days into it. And I gotta tell you, it is not fun. Like every day that I'm on a quote unquote diet, there's no fun to it. but I'm thinking long term that the end result is worth it, right? And if I think about the short term and the medium term, I'm going to go back to my lifestyle of having a nice milkshake and a nice supersized fry, at least once a day, and that's short term. Does that make sense?
Yep.
And so this line in the sand is really, really hard, but it's like, man, I got to stick to that. So now pretty much um, every, oh, no sound for you. Oh, I'm sorry about that. Yeah, everyone else has sound, Rick, so I'm not sure how to help you with that. Uh, Maybe it'll come through on the replay because I'm sure I'll record this and send it out later. Okay, so that line in the sand, 333,000. So that pretty much means anything that comes into your world that's under that, what do you got to do?
Mm-hmm. Refer it out.
Yeah, refer it out. Tell them, hey, you know what? I'd love to help you. I'm just not the right person for you. And that stinks. I'm telling you, it is hard.
Yeah.
But the people who generally make the most amount of income, um, they're really good at doing that. Does that make sense? Like I have a physician friend who's very good, and he could pretty much do anything, but he's a specialist, right? And he does shoulders. So if somebody comes to him and says, "Oh my gosh, I got a broken nose," he could probably fix it, but because he's a specialist, he says, "Hey, you know what? I don't do broken noses. This person here, Scott, does, and he'll take great care of you." Does that make sense?
Yep. He refers it out.
So, all right, so we got that step. Now the second step of the freedom multiplier is like, who is your ideal client? And what I mean by that is, like, what characteristics do these people need to have so that you just really, really enjoy working with them, and it's just easy for you and it's easy for them. And every realtor that I talk with has different criteria. But off the top of your head, like, what would you say as far as like, gosh, if you worked with an ideal client that had these characteristics or these traits, it would be like, oh my gosh, it's like, this is work. This is like incredible. And so what would those traits or characteristics be in someone's opinion?
If you had a cash buyer, that'd be a nice characteristic, wouldn't it?
Okay, so awesome. So cash buyer. What else? Anything else for you, Rick?
So, they know what they want and they can make up their mind. That's always nice.
Yeah. Yeah, they're kind of a decision maker, right?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Yep. Awesome. Anything else come to your mind?
I'd like to hear from somebody else. What do they think?
Anybody else got something? I'll tell
Yeah, I
you.
like work.
Oh yeah, go ahead.
I like working with people with my type of background. So
Hello.
I come from a family.
Good. How are you?
So I find it easy to relate with them. They're not very well educated, I should say, because most of them are foreigners here in my city. So they have a lot of questions. They don't know the real estate market, so to speak, and so I feel like I'm doing like I'm working with my parents, so to speak. So I don't know. I feel very comfortable with that community. So and I can relate with them a lot. So and they appreciate me helping them. So I really like working with the Portuguese community.
Gotcha. That's huge. That's one of mine. I have four criteria. One is that they're just friendly and cooperative, right? And it sounds like that's kind of what you're saying too. They just appreciate you, right?
Yeah.
Instead of you having to chase people, it's almost like they're attracted to you, right? And that's a big difference. My second thing on there is that they know what they want, kind of like Rick was saying. My third thing is that they're willing to move within 60 days. So it doesn't mean that they're willing to buy a house in 60 days. It means they're willing to move in 60 days. And so many times, um, gosh, when I work with a buyer, generally from the time I get the lead to the time we write an offer is usually anywhere from 3 to 10 days, right? And I don't know, I'm not a high pressure kind of guy. This is about as high pressure as I get. But I ask really, really, really good questions that cause people to either go down the road of like, hey, you know what, I really don't want to buy a house, or it goes down the road of, um, yeah, we do want to do this, right? And I have three words that kind of describe this, and I'll ask people. So this is a tactic of how to find out how interested somebody is I say, hey, on a scale of 0 to 100, where would you put yourself on the scale of no interest at all, of buying or selling a house, and 100 meaning like you got to have it done like today? Where would you put yourself on that scale? And so many times as realtors, one, we're dealing with people that aren't that high up on the scale, and two, we're dealing with people that even if we do help them buy or sell a home, we don't get that excited because it's like, oh, I just helped them buy a $100,000 home. You know, that wasn't that exciting. And so just those two things alone will help change your world. Um, and then for me, the last thing on my ideal client is they're willing to buy or sell at market price. And to me, that's very, very important. So I tell people, I'm like, hey, I'm not George Clooney, and they can see that pretty quickly. I'm not a great orator. I'm not going to give a speech like Michelle Obama, right? Like, I mean, her talk the other night was like, how do I compete with that? You know? So I'm not a great orator. I'm not a politician. I'm just a realtor. And what that means is, as far as buying goes, I'm going to help you buy a home for the lowest possible price in the time frame you want with the least amount of stress. And as far as selling a home goes, I will help sell your home for the highest possible price in the time frame you want with the least amount of stress. That's what I can do for you. But what I cannot do for you, I cannot sell your $350,000 home for $450,000. Right? If I could do that, I would be a bazillionaire. Right? And so, so my goal is to be brutally honest with you and to tell you exactly what's going on so that you can make an educated decision of, again, that fork in the road. Do you want to buy a home or do you just want to stay where you're at? And I tell people either way is okay. You just need to make a decision. So that's part two. So part one of the Freedom Multipliers, how much money do you want to make every time you help a client out? Part two is, okay, who is your ideal client? What characteristics do they need to have so that you'd even be interested in working with them? Part three is, okay, cool. What three things do you need to do for this client so that it ensures that they get the end result that they're looking for? So what three things do you need to do to ensure that this client, buyer or seller, gets the end result that they're looking for? and preferably faster and more significantly, right? Because we definitely live in a world of faster and more significantly. That's why Apple comes out with iPhone 1, and then they come out with version 2. Maybe they're on version 7 or 6 right now, I'm not sure. You know, a few years from now, they'll be on version 10. It's always going to be faster and more significant. And so, so I guess opening it up, I mean, what are 3 things that you need to do so that these clients basically get the result that they want? What would be some things? I'll tell you. Oh, sorry, go ahead.
I was going to say the obvious thing is to get the house they want. You know, I mean, that's the obvious thing, but obviously there's more leading questions into it. So
Yeah.
I'm eager to hear what others are saying.
Yeah. Well, for me, it boils down to my. So when I meet someone, I tell them my 3 promises. I tell them the 3 things I'm going to be doing with them and for them. And then I tell them my 3 performance guarantees that I have for buyers and my 3 performance guarantees I have for sellers. And it all boils down to the 3 things that I need to do for a buyer and seller is I got to be brutally honest with them, right? Like brutally honest. So, you know, it's sometimes people like honesty and sometimes they don't. I choose the route of being brutally honest with people because I only want to work 40 to 50 hours a week. And I only want my coaching students to work 40 or 50 hours a week, right? You're going to have to work 100 hours a week if you're not honest with people, right? And part of that might be, gosh, you're out looking at a house with a buyer, and they find the house they love, and they go, hey, this is priced at $280. I think we should maybe offer $230. Well, one realtor might say, yeah, let's write the offer up and see what happens. Another realtor, like myself, would say, hey, it's America. We can offer $1 if you want, but the odds of you getting the house is very slim, like really slim. You know, and we need to take a look at this, and there's 3 different types of houses out there. There's houses that are overpriced, houses that are fairly priced, and houses that are underpriced. And that's it. That's the only 3 types of houses that exist on global Earth. And so we got to find out together. We've seen 7 houses now, or we've seen 12 houses, or we've been looking for a week, or whatever it is, you know, comparing this house to every other house out there. Is this one overpriced, fairly priced, or underpriced? And they're going to say whatever it is. It's probably not overpriced because they wouldn't be wanting to buy it. They're probably going to say, well, it seems fairly priced, or it maybe even seems underpriced. Oh, okay, cool. Underpriced by like how much? And they might say, well, you know, it's priced at $280. It seems more like a $295 or a $300. Perfect. I agree with you. I think it is underpriced, and I think even if we offer $290, we're still getting a very good deal. But that's me, right? And so I'll do whatever you guys want to do, but gosh, when I finally find the right, whatever it is, fill in the blank, I just am not interested in saving $500, right? So my personality is like, and I've had this personality when I had no money to my name, and I have the same personality trait now that I have lots, right? But it's like I just don't want to haggle, right? And it's like, you know, so what if I could make an extra $400 by selling my car to this dealership down the road? Just be done with it. right? It's the same when my wife will shop for gas. I just go to the gas station and pay the market price, right? And so I'm just looking for that same kind of premium client, right? That client that's like, it doesn't matter if gas is $8 a gallon or $1 a gallon. I gotta buy gasoline, so it really doesn't matter. And so, anyway, do you see how that helps? Just by being honest with people. Um, so honesty is really, really, really critical. So let me go over the 3 promises that I tell my clients. I say, hey, promise number 1 is I'm going to be on time. Promise number 2 is I'm going to be brutally honest with you. Promise number 3 is I'm going to do what I say I'm going to do. And so I'll say, is that okay with you? And so I'll say, hey, if 3 of my promises are this, promise number 1 is I'm going to be brutally honest with you. Is that okay with you? And they typically say yes. And I say, cool, here's $100. If I ever taint the truth, like ever, and it's your opinion of that, you let me know and I owe you $100, right? My first promise is I'm going to be on time. If I'm ever late, do you know what I owe you, Mr. and Mrs. Jones? $100, right? And then number 3 is I'm going to do what I say I'm going to do. So if I'm going to tell you there's going to be an open house from 1 to 3, you can bet it's going to be an open from 1 to 3. If I say the photographer is going to be there at 2 o'clock, they're going to be there at 2 o'clock. If I say that, hey, let's see houses today from 10 a.m. to noon, it's going to happen at 10 a.m. And if it doesn't, based on, I can't control other people, but if I don't show up or put the brochures in or whatever, I owe you $100. Just those 3 promises alone are going to set you apart. And the people who appreciate people being on time, do they tend to be a little more premium or wealthy, or do they tend to be not so premium or not so well-to-do? Yeah. I mean, if you're on time, you can pretty much get my business, right? So if I'm hiring a painter, I don't even really care about the quality of his work. If he's on time, perfect, you get the job. Does that make sense? So being on time, being brutally honest, and doing what you say you're going to do are 3 things that are going to attract you to premium clients. They're going to also repel people that are not on time, aren't really honest themselves, right? And say one thing and do another, which that's perfect. That just saved me a whole bunch of time, right? And then number 2 is I tell people, okay, so those are my 3 promises. These are the 3 things that I'm going to be doing with you and for you. One of them is I am going to consult with you. And what I mean by that is I'm going to really make sure that you make an awesome, wise decision every step of the way for you. That's what a consultant does. Number 2 is I'm going to negotiate for you. I'm going to treat your money like it's my money. And then number 3, I'm going to handle all the details for you. And right now in Southern California, there's over 360 different steps in the buying process, and I'm going to make sure that that happens as it should. And bottom line, I'm going to get the job done for you, and I am not going to let you down. Well, oh my gosh, just those things alone, you start implementing those, you're going to start attracting different people into the world, and vice versa, you're going to start repelling some people, right? And I tell people repelling people is okay. Like Hillary Clinton, she's not going after the Republicans because they don't like her, right? Donald Trump, he's not going after the Democrats because he could say whatever, they're not going to like him. Does that make sense? So what they go after is called the independents or their own party. And so it's the same kind of thing in real estate, right? We can only go after people that want to buy or sell a home. I can't force somebody at the grocery store to buy a home that doesn't want to buy a home, right? So anyway, that's that. Another time we'll have to be talking about the 3 performance guarantees for buyers that I do, the 3 performance guarantees for sellers. And then the 4th step on the freedom multiplier is like, cool, now that I know how much money I want to make per client, $10,000, and I know the things that like I'm looking for from them, and I know the things that I got to do for them, which primarily is being just brutally honest, then number 4 is cool. How much money do you want to make in a year? And so for Rick, like in a perfect world in the next 12 months, Rick, if you could make what kind of income would you be like, wow, that was a really good 12 months?
300.
So 300,000. Awesome.
Yep.
So that means you take that 10,000, divide it by the 300, so you're at 30 clients. So it's like, okay, cool. I got to help out 30 clients. So that means you got to help somebody once every 2 weeks, give or take. Well, oh my gosh. So that's really, really easy to do with my signature system, because I have 12 different ways that I go about attracting, converting, and delivering awesome results for buyers and sellers. About half of those 12 ways cost close to 0 money. The other half cost money. And it might be something like, gosh, I wonder if I have an example. Okay. It might be an example of one of my latest postcards that I just sent out, right? This is a just sold card. And you know, you can kind of see right there, it's like, hey, we're going to sell your home faster for more money and less stress. You know, and by sending this card out, the only people that are going to call me are the people that want to sell their home faster for more money and less stress, right? I'm not getting calls of, can you do a market analysis for me, or whatever. It's very targeted marketing, right? It's, if I was a plumber, I would be like, do you have clogged drains? Do you have overflowing water? Do you have water in the basement? If so, call me, right? It's like, it would do no good for somebody to call a plumber and say, hey, we're needing a hamburger. Can you help us buy a hamburger? The plumber would be like, well, I'm a plumber, you know? So it's being very clear, direct, and firm on what you want. So, awesome. I see 2 of my favorite ladies here. We got Tori and Kay. Hi, guys.
Hey, hi, Kay. Hey, Tori.
Hello, hello. So awesome. So that's the freedom multiplier. And when you really, really stick with like, okay, how much do you want to deposit every time you help somebody out? That charges me up. My number is about 22,000. So every time I deposit a check, I want it to be $22,000 or higher. That helps me create just a line in the sand. I'm going to help anybody out, but I really, really, really want to focus on those people, right? And I realize anytime I choose to help somebody less than that, I'm probably saying no to somebody that's more than that. And then, yeah. So anyway, okay, so I do 2 things to help realtors out. One is you know, calls like this. Well, I guess I should say 3 things. I do calls like this, and they're free. Hop on anytime, get information, put the stuff into practice, and away you go. The second thing I do is I do a 3-day live event. My next one is coming up September 13th, 14th, and 15th, and that's in San Diego. To find out more info, you can go to the website profitsandpassions.com, PROFITSANDPASSIONS. And that 3-day event, it's $998. And there's 2 guarantees. Guarantee number 1 is it'll be the last real estate event you'll ever need to attend. If you don't feel that way, you just let me know, and I refund you back 100% of what you paid. You just got to let me know by the end of the 3-day conference. And then the second guarantee is that when you come to that conference, you're going to walk away with a very clear plan on how you can make $300,000 of income or more within 12 months. And if you don't feel that's happened for you, you just let me know by the end of the 3rd day, and I refund you back 100% of what you paid. And the reason I can make those guarantees is because I'm a realtor. I'm not a coach. I'm not a trainer. I'm not a professional speaker. I'm a realtor that sells real estate today, and I'm just helping other realtors duplicate what I do. And I mean, for a realtor to make $10 million in sales, using my signature system is very simple. There's no cold calling. Well, I shouldn't say no cold calling, but there's no calling expireds, no calling for sale by owners. If you do, I guess, quote unquote, cold call someone, it's for a purpose, and it's for somebody that is interested. Does that make sense? So maybe it's more of a warm call. Just like I call my parents, I guess that's a cold call because they're not expecting it, but it's not a cold call in the world of real estate. Does that make sense? And then the third thing that I do for people is I do coaching, and I coach realtors 104 times in a year process, and it's called the Freedom Club. It's really awesome because it is life-changing. One of the guarantees that I have on that is as long as you implement the stuff that we're going over, as long as you show up on the calls, you're going to make $25,000 of additional income within 90 days. And if that doesn't happen, then I coach and train you for the next 90 days for free. If that doesn't happen, at the end of that 6 months, I just refund you back 100% of what you paid. And I pretty much say, hey, I love you as a person, but I think you should probably reevaluate your career choice. Because it's pretty inevitable. I mean, Kay's on the call right now, and Tori dropped off, unfortunately. Maybe she'll come back. But Kay's been working with me, I don't know, we started working, let's say, in February, and I believe, what are we at, July, so we're talking 5-6 months, and I think you've gone from $3,000 of income to, what, like $155,000 of income?
That's what I'm headed for now.
Yeah, and you've probably changed a lot of your dialogues in those 5 to 6 months, I'm assuming.
All of it. All of it.
Yeah, yeah, and your average sales price has like skyrocketed, has it not?
I went from 200 and under to 450 and above so far. Now we're ready to start leaping into the upper 8 and the million.
Wow, and it's not like you're in Colorado. It's not like home prices doubled. It's just who you were going after changed.
Exactly.
Yeah, and so instead of helping the $200,000 buyer seller, it's like, hey, I can help the $400,000 or $500,000, $600,000 buyer or seller. So I guess real quick, Kate, for you, what before you started working with me, what was what was the hardest part, or was there a hard part? Were you skeptical? 'Cause you probably worked with other real estate coaches or went to other trainings or whatnot, right?
I did, and everybody, I think the hardest part was me. I'm not a salesy person. I'm very laid back, and I'd rather look at helping the people than pushing them into a sale or a deal that they're not comfortable with. And in our market, that's a tough challenge, along with trying to find somebody to help me really get going. So now I do everything real laid back, and it's all about helping them, and I've just changed how I do everything, and I've doubled the people I'm working with. I have 2 listings this weekend, 1 going live tomorrow. I'm writing another offer today, so that's 3 in a week. 2 have been accepted, and now we'll have another one tonight. So it's just nonstop right now.
That's awesome. Oh, that's awesome. That's and those transactions just in this week, they're probably what, total $1 million, million and a half?
Closer to $1.5 million, because 2 of them are over 470 and 1 is 260. So yeah.
Awesome. Gosh, I love it. Yay, a virtual high five to Kay.
Woohoo, baby!
Yeah.
We'll just keep growing.
Yeah. Exactly. So yeah. So definitely. Well, I'll give you guys my cell phone too. I'm a realtor. So it's 858-212-1245. If you want to, you can call me, but it's going to be tough. I'm going to be in Hawaii the next probably 14 days because I love vacations. That's one of my big things. And we're going to get Kay there where we can get you on a 2-week vacation to Hawaii. But my cell phone is 858-212-1245. Call me, text me. If you have any questions about, hey, is this Freedom Club, the training where it's 104 times in a year, if that's right for you, we'll talk about it. It's $1,800 a month. It's not cheap. I'm a big believer of you get what you pay for. In fact, I'm a massive believer of you get what you pay for. And I'm not your typical real estate coach or trainer. I'm a guy who's been there, done that. I've sold 371 million of sales, so I can probably help you prevent 90% of the pitfalls that you're going to fall into, which is important. And I'll probably tell you, you probably need to quit doing about 70% of what you're currently doing and instead do these things in replace of that. And for sure, oh my gosh, if you have not been to a 3-day event, it would be crazy for you not to attend. I mean, it's limited to 30 realtors. Like I say, there's 2 guarantees. One is it'll be the last real estate event you'll ever need to attend. If you don't feel that way, you just let me know. By the end of the 3rd day, I refund you back 100% of what you paid. And the second is you'll walk away with a very clear plan of how you can make $300,000 or more of income. And we can talk about that. And I got to say hi to Tori because it's been a while since I've seen Tori live and on video.
I miss my people. I miss my passion people, profits people, passion people.
Yeah, profits and passions, exactly. So Tori has been part of our Freedom Club, and Tori is from Minnesota, which is kind of dear to my heart because that's where I started in real estate, even though I moved away because the mosquitoes were killing me. But so exactly. So Tori, tell me what has been the best things for you being part of the Freedom Club?
You guys, it is so true that it's just you got to stop doing pretty much everything of what you're doing and get trained and then learn dialogues that matter and make sense and that resonate in a way that these people don't hear any other agents kind of having conversations with them about like this. It's really For me, that's been a huge thing. And then just really bringing it on the marketing, and bringing something different, and really that invested approach. So I have a new one just right here. Sorry, I'm out showing actually, but here's the new
Nice.
one. And you guys, whoever's new on this call, I can't really see what's going on, but that's an 8-page brochure. This is a for sale by owner. I was leaving a closing a couple weeks ago, and I saw a for sale by owner sign, Lake Home. I don't know, I was feeling funky, and so I just decided to go see it. It's vacant, amazing lot. Called the guy, had a great conversation with him based on dialogue that I've picked up from Jonathan. Left one of these brochures from another listing with a note that just said, guys, I got to talk to you. XYZ is wrong. I'd rock this out of the park. Call me. They called me the next day. I was there the next morning signing paperwork. And I sold it before I even got it on MLS.
Yeah.
I was marketing it last week, and some agent brought a client in last weekend, and they sent a full price offer on Sunday. So it's just, it works. I had an agent call me the other night. She's like, Tori, how did you do that? I've been watching that property forever, and I cannot even believe the way it looks. And it shows up on MLS. Already it has an offer. You blew it out of the park. How did you do it? And I just thought, well, I'm not going to tell you. You got to call. I go, hey, write down this name, Jonathan Zabraki. Call him.
Oh, that's kind of you. That's awesome. I want to give you a big hug. That's an awesome commission, Tori. That's like $15,000.
Well, with my luck, he goes, hey, if you sell it before it hits MLS, will you do it for 4? And I go, yeah, totally. Thinking that shit never happens. Totally happened, but it's okay because it's awesome exposure for me.
Yeah.
You know, there's going to be a big, really nice marketing campaign that goes to all the people living on that lake. These people are so awesome. They're premium kind of clients. He used to be in real estate forever ago, so, you know, raving fans are in the process of being created right now. She has deep roots in the community, and her mind is just blown about how this has gone. So, you know, whatever. It's still worth it, and it's happening all in like a week. You know.
That's awesome. That's awesome, Tori. That's so tell me and tell others, because before you signed up for the Freedom Club, I'm sure you must have had some skeptical thoughts. And again, you've probably, I'm not the first real estate person you've bumped into or watched videos of or whatever it is. I mean, what was your skeptical brain telling you, and what caused you to get through it and like go for it anyway?
I am the most skeptical person out there. I'm a tough sell. I believe most people are full of bullshit, and I have a really good meter for that. And I just am like a no bullshit kind of person. So I don't know. I kind of forgot what your question was, but basically just how you are, what you say resonates with the way I like to do business. And I can tell that, you guys, Jonathan's just really smart, and he's figured it out. So for me, it was like, you know what? I'd rather pay somebody to train me, teach me, coach me, whatever you want to call it, on how to do it right early on than just beat my head against the wall for a decade, like a lot of other agents I watch.
Yeah. Was it important that it was like, hey, I'm actually still selling real estate, and I actually go on the listing appointments and buyer appointments like once a week?
Totally. There are coaches that shall remain nameless that have never even been an agent. So, and I don't want to talk to the employee that the person who's never even been an agent has hired to be my coach.
Yeah. I'm the same way. It's like if I'm going to lose weight, I want to hire a fitness trainer that is fit, right? I don't really want to hire a fitness trainer that's 100 pounds overweight.
Yeah, right.
I will pay more for that person who is fit because it's like been there, done that, yeah.
Well, I think the other thing that really resonates for me, and when I have time, I'm always like, I'm going to read some of these books, but really really digging into just basic psychology. You know, like the psychological part is huge, and you're really good at weaving psychological concepts into real estate conversations. Does that make sense?
Yeah, yeah. It's basically like tell me more, right? And tell me more, and understand that humans want to get stuff done fast and efficiently. And most buyers and sellers that you interact with, as long as they're premium buyers and sellers, they just want this thing done yesterday. Like that for sale by owner person, they just go, awesome, I want it done yesterday. It
Yep.
sells under a week. They don't go like, why did it sell under a week? We could have sold it for 4.2 million. Da 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 da. No, they want this done yesterday, right? But when I walk in to get a haircut, I want it done yesterday. When I go to McDonald's, I kind of want my hamburger now. You know, and we're all that way. Or I'm assuming we're that way. We don't go into McDonald's and peruse the menu for 45 minutes. We're like, let's go. Let's make this happen. And the more premium client you work with, the faster they want things to happen. They're just like, and they hear your 3 promises. They hear the 3 things you're going to be doing with them and for them. They hear your performance guarantees for buyers, for sellers, and they're just like, boom, let's go. So, see you, Tori. Good luck with your showing.
Thank you.
Yeah, bye. So, oh my gosh, it's like a couple minutes past. So, sign up for the September event if you haven't already. It's limited to 30 realtors maximum. If you're interested in talking about private coaching with myself, call me, text me, and we'll talk. I'll typically have you fill out a 6-page application. You'll fill that out. We'll talk some more after that's filled out. I mean, I'm really serious about working with committed people, right? And really obsessed people, because again, I work with buyers and sellers that are obsessed with selling their home, not interested in selling their home. And obsessed doesn't mean you got to work 90 hours a week. I just really want to stress that. I mean, you saw Tori in her car. Does she seem like an ultra-stressed realtor? Yeah, no, right? I mean, Kay's not seeming ultra-stressed. I've been having coaching clients since 6:30 in the morning today. I am exhausted, but I'm not stressed. I mean, it's like there's so much business out there, and the cool part about my signature system is like I don't need to help out 100 families, nor do I want to help out 100 families, right? That would be, I'm just not interested. I want to help out 23 families a year. That's me personally, right? And so, you know, it's really, really fun when you get this thing dialed in, and it does not take forever. I think Tori and I have probably been working together since March maybe, or April. I'd have to check the date on it, so like 4 months, 5 months. So, okay, so we got time for maybe like 5 minutes of questions max. Does anybody have any questions on anything?
How often do you do the event, Jonathan?
Oh, great question. This year, this will be the 4th one I do. It'll probably be the last one of the year. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, September 13th, 14th, 15th. Yeah.
So when's the next one? When's the next month that you'll do one?
Oh, probably like January, February.
You know, because in Michigan it's kind of cold and snowy, so it'd be nice to come out to San Diego in the, you know, in the the height of winter, right?
Exactly. I'm from the Midwest. I hear you. Well, come out in September and then come back again in January. And then when you come back in January, you'll probably be like Kay or Tori and be like, oh my gosh, I just made another 1.5 million in sales for the week.
Yeah, no, that's good. That's
Yeah.
good.
Yeah, awesome.
Jonathan,
Yeah.
I'm with you.
would you ever consider coming out to the East Coast to do that 3-day event or no?
I don't. Yeah, so I tell people I never say never, but the odds of me going to the East, the odds of me doing an event outside of San Diego is probably a 0.5%. Yeah. And the reason for that is, again, I'm not a like real estate trainer who wants to travel all around and get people all like rallied up or lathered up, you know. I I want people to like make a commitment to themselves, right? Travel a little bit, have some inconvenience, and the 3-day event, there's I don't think I've ever played rock music or whatever. I don't think I ever will. I mean, it's like a workshop. It's like, hey, this is exactly what I did to go from 0 to 371 million in sales, and avoid these 12 things like the plague, and instead do these 12. You know, and I don't do Facebook. I don't do Twitter. I don't do social media. I don't do expireds. I don't do FISBOs. Oh my gosh, I could tell you all the gibberish I don't do, and it's going to save you a ton of time, a ton of money, and a ton of going down like rabbit holes. Um, so yeah, I yeah, sorry. Yeah, I love the East Coast. No offense to the East Coast. If I was living in New Jersey, then all the events would be in New Jersey. But yeah, the events
Well,
are
how's this?
basically 2 miles from my house.
Well, I got season tickets to the Patriots, so if you want to come see a real team, then you can come out for 3 days.
There you go. Well, that's incentive because Patriots are my favorite team. They are like they're awesome. They are okay. So oh my gosh, there's 3 C's that cause realtors to have really good success or struggle. One is confidence, one is clarity, one is consistency. So confidence, clarity, consistency. It's like I don't know, on a 4-foot by 2-foot banner right up there on my wall. And the Patriots are that. The Patriots have a lot of confidence. They're very clear. They're like, we are going to win the Super Bowl. Well, we're not going to attend the Super Bowl. We are going to win the Super Bowl. And then they're very consistent. So they're not cocky because they win the Super Bowl like, I don't know, 54% of the time. So, it's like they work at it. They're very smart. They do the fundamentals. I would say Kay and Tori would validate, like, my stuff is not some newfangled stuff. It's very fundamental. It's very relationship based, right? And it's like do the basics. Do the basics, do the basics. Don't do these shiny objects. Do the basics, build relationships, help people that want your help, and yeah, I mean the Patriots are going to have some haters. That's okay. It is what it doesn't bother Tom Brady, right? It just laser focused. Awesome. Time for maybe one more question, and then I gotta skedaddle. Anybody got a?
When will you take coaching student? When does that start?
Well, so I limit it to 52. So I only coach and train 52 realtors in that 1,800 a month program, and that's where we're meeting twice a week, 52 weeks in a year, so 104 times. If you're interested, text me. It's 858 212 1245. 858-212-1245, and we'll talk about it. I'm really really eager to help people that want help,
Mm-hmm.
and I see you. I'm gonna not pronounce your name right. Yukioko signed up for the the 3-day event coming up in September. So kudos, Yukiyoko. I will see you. I will see you then. That'll be exciting. So cool. So yeah, 858-212-1245. I trust this was helpful for you guys, and really look forward to helping you out. And hey, good to see you. Glad you
Good to
made.
see you. Sorry I missed you earlier.
Yeah, no worries. I'm glad you made it back safe. It sounded like you were in the middle of nowhere, Colorado.
Well, kinda, yeah.
Yeah,
Almost Kansas.
yeah, exactly. Well, hey, have a great day, everybody. I really appreciate your time.
Thank you, Jonathan.
Yep, see ya.
Thank
Bye.
you.